All right, West Virginia fans, it's portal season, day one. We officially have visits that are set according to various sources online. So we'll react to the most recent departures from West Virginia and talk about some of the players that may help us in the future. Got to be honest, a bit of an underwhelming start to the portal season for West Virginia if we're looking at it and what has been reported. A lot of fans are not very happy that we haven't had any Power 4 noise out there yet. So I think there's a few things to this, right? I think the first thing is West Virginia can't show all their cards. Otherwise, they might have a chance that other bidders can come in. So they might be trying to keep things under wraps and not say anything and sneak people in so that a large bidder doesn't come in at the last second. So I totally get that. So you can't be totally panicked. And it is day one. There's still a lot of time in day one, and you have to allow this to build. But at the same time, I do share the fans' testament of being a little frustrated because we've had a lot of guys walk out of the program at this point, and it just seems like today has been an underwhelming day of some of the prospects that we are getting. So we'll talk about them tonight. But before we even start, I wanted to talk about that. Before we do that, if you're a West Virginia fan, please remember to like and subscribe to JerseyEER. We really appreciate it. That being said, let's get into today's show. So let's talk about the most recent departures first. So since we last talked, these are the people that have entered the transfer portal. Rodney Gallagher, Asani Redwood, Jalen Henderson, Jordan Scruggs, Noah Braham, BJ Hendrickson, Jordan McCants, and Keenan Eck. Rodney Gallagher kind of hurts, because he's a guy that's been loyal to the program. He's been here for 3 years. He grew up a West Virginia fan and was a local guy. So losing Gallagher definitely stings a little bit. It would have been nice to see him finish out his career as a West Virginia Mountaineer. But if you're being honest, how can you blame him and go check out what else is out there? You don't want to have any regrets in your college career. So really with two coaching staffs, he wasn't able to live up to his potential, in my opinion, and had some pretty average numbers. So he's going to get a chance to get a change of scenery in his last year and see if he can develop himself and get ready for the next level. So best of luck to Rodney Gallagher. I really liked him as a person and as a player, but ultimately he's not going to be on the team next year. Asani Redwood walks out the door. A little surprised about that one. In his post, it was very, very similar to Hammond Russell's and didn't have any mention of Rich Rodriguez in his post. So reading between the lines there, I'm guessing that relationship was not great. Otherwise, he would have just mentioned Rich Rodriguez. Usually don't love when the players post their goodbyes because I just think it's like whatever, you're going to leave, so just go. But if you are going to post it, I do try to look for that stuff, and that was eye-opening to me. Jordan Scruggs announced about a few minutes ago that he is going to enter the portal if he's granted another year of eligibility. So he's another guy like Hammond Russell that I'm not even sure if they had eligibility left. I mean, Scruggs walked on senior day. I think Scruggs has to file for an appeal to be eligible, but it looks like he was open to come back to West Virginia, but that has changed. And if you're West Virginia, you can't really blame them if that was their choice to get out of this one. You can't wait around and know if Scruggs is going to be eligible or not. Scruggs is a good player. I liked him as a player, and it stinks to see him go. But at the same time, he was a little bit undersized at times this year, and West Virginia wanted to get bigger in that position, and they're not going to wait around for a guy that might not even be eligible. They have moves to make. Noah Braham, BJ Hendrickson, McCants, and Eck really didn't play for West Virginia, so not really much to say there. McCants was a guy that was a receiver from Jack State, but just never really saw the field much this year. So those are the most recent departures, and I think the biggest thing about as these departures add up is I think last year now has to be set as a year zero, and it kind of stinks because I felt like we built a lot of positive momentum during the last half of the season, starting with the TCU game and the Houston game and then the Colorado game. It's like, man, we have some pieces back next year that we can build on. And if we don't have a total rebuild, we add a few pieces in the transfer portal, we should be okay. And now after seeing just the sheer number of players that have left the program over the last 72 hours, I almost have to consider last year a year zero. Let me know in the comments what you think about that. let's get into some of the players that have been linked to West Virginia that are setting up visits. And the first one is Christian Moss. He's a 6'3", 199-pound receiver. Played at Virginia Tech originally as a freshman. You can actually see him here at the bottom picture. That's Wesley McCormick, JMU transfer for West Virginia, going to be covering him there. West Virginia won that game, of course, but he did secure a 21-yard reception against West Virginia in that game. So he has some sort of history with West Virginia. He has one season left, and he's also going to be visiting Boise State. You can see at the top graphic there, that's 24/7 Sports, has basically the same grade as Cam Vaughn. As of right now, he's the 83rd receiver, according to 24/7. Cam Vaughn's the 86th. So at the very least, this guy can replace Cam Vaughn right off the top of the bat based on their skill sets and what is here. You can see the stats here from this past season, some really good stats: 45 balls, 689 yards, and 2 touchdowns, average 15 yards a catch. I actually have some film on this guy that I'll show now. Really like this guy's film. We'll watch it now. So you see here, just wide open. So it must have been a blown coverage there, but I can catch it and take it to the house. Gonna do a little RPO fake, slant across the middle, and he's off to the races on touch. This is against UTEP here. Gonna run a little crossing route. Looks like the guy was looking man coverage there, and he's off to the races. He's gonna score a touchdown here. So he has that home run, big playability, which is what you love to see. And when you're replacing a guy like Cam Vaughn, that's what you really need to do. So out of all the guys that we've seen today, this is the one of them that I'm most excited about, just based on the film that I saw and his length as a receiver. So I think this is all good stuff for West Virginia. So Christian Moss, like I said, going to be visiting West Virginia. Up next, we have DJ Epps, a guy who was at Troy, and that's definitely interesting. So he's also used as a kick returner. He had 23 attempts this year for 554 yards. He had a long of 79, and he has 1 year of eligibility left. I actually believe this guy was a walk-on originally out of high school and earned himself a scholarship within the last year or two. So that's a good story. It's a guy that has worked himself up and has developed as a player, and over time has gotten better. And now he's in a position to possibly join the West Virginia Mountaineers. So you can see the visits that are planned there. So on January 7th and 8th, he'll be on campus at West Virginia. And then he's going to take a visit to Cincinnati on January 9th and 10th. So DJ Epps locking down 2 Big 12 visits early in this portal window. Up next, we have Antonio Berry from Gardner-Webb, which is the same school as Ty French. So, tread lightly here, because Ty French was a guy that had like 35 or 43, something crazy, like career sacks at Gardner-Webb. Comes to West Virginia and just didn't pan out. Actually had 0 career sacks. So you never know with this player, but the fact of the matter is he's also visiting Ohio State today. So he's going to be at Ohio State today and then West Virginia on Saturday. He's 6'6", 240, so a really nice length coming off of the edge. He's ranked the number 39th edge rusher according to 24/7 Sports as we stand right now. Racked up 52 tackles this year for 10.5 tackles for loss, 4.5 sacks, a really high number of pass breaks up with 7, and 2 forced fumbles. Have some film off of his Instagram here. Nothing much here, but we can kind of just show his highlights so you guys can see him at least. Again, this is on his IG. Looks like he's excited to play. Comes and tackles there. They actually so Gardner-Webb, even though they're a lower level school, they've played a lot of similar schools, like Ohio and Georgia Tech here. Just finishing the play there, causing havoc in the backfield. Love this play here. That's some hard edge. Just finishing to the whistle. Could have used that this year versus the Ohio Bobcats. So, like I said, the fact that he's visiting Ohio State says a lot. Usually if you see a Gardner-Webb guy, especially with what happened with Ty French, you might roll your eyes at this one, but the fact that Ohio State is involved does show that he can play, in my opinion. I don't think Ohio State would waste the time and bring a guy on a visit if they weren't remotely interested in him. If you're West Virginia, you got to think that he has a better chance to play here than he would at Ohio State. So keep your eye on this one, Antonio O'Berry from Gardner-Webb. Up next, we have MJ Stroud from Georgia Southern. MJ Stroud plans to visit West Virginia, Colorado, and Michigan State. So, you're talking about a Big 10 school and two Big 12 schools. He's 6'2", 235. He was a first team All Sun Belt this season. 15 and a half tackles for loss, which is a really impressive number. 6.5 sacks and 3 forced fumbles. He's ranked number 53 edge rusher according to On3. He spent his entire career at Georgia Southern, and over his career, he had 75 tackles, 17 tackles for loss, and 6.5 sacks and 3 forced fumbles. So didn't really do too much those first few years, but this year really exploded on the scene, and he's going to bet on himself and take that great season that he had and try to level up and go Power 4 football. So nice offer list and visit list for him, and keep your eye on this one for West Virginia as they try to add depth at each position. Then the next guy you see here is Isaiah Patterson. Really keep your eye on this one. I believe On3 had like 100% prediction of him going to West Virginia. I believe he's on campus today or this weekend. So I think UCLA is also going to be in the mix here, according to the tweet that you see. So he actually spent his first year at UCLA, ended up redshirting, and then transferring to UNLV. And had a pretty decent season at UNLV. He had 46 combined tackles, 1.5 tackles for loss, and a half a sack. And he's only a redshirt freshman, so he'll have 3 years of eligibility after this. So hypothetically, West Virginia could take this guy and build him up for the future. But I say that with a major grain of salt based on what we've seen recently with players leaving after one season. So the only thing you can guarantee is if a guy comes, you have him for one season. So we'll just leave it at that. And that's all I got. Basketball game tonight. So wanted to get on here and just throw out the first 5 or 6 guys that we saw and kind of react to it. I'm sure there'll be more news by the time we get to the basketball game tonight. So I believe I'll have Amit Batra on tonight to talk after the game. So that'll be fun. So we'll do a live show tonight after the basketball game. We'll talk about it and see if there's any more portal updates for you guys. Like I said, if you can, please remember to like and subscribe to JerseyEER. We'll talk to you guys next time.